Welcome back to another episode of MOI Talks. I am Angela Cameron, founder of Married on Island. We are your go-to resource for couples planning their wedding here in Galveston. That includes your pre-wedding events, your after-wedding events, your honeymoon. We're going to help connect you with the vendors and the professionals and the creatives to help make your dreams come to life. Today, we have the Texas Surf Museum in the house, and I want to welcome Eduardo and Mazzie.
Yo.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm saying your name wrong.
Are we your youngest guests ever?
That's a great question.
I think we are.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Always.
Yeah.
We're always the youngest in the room, which is great.
Okay. Hitting the younger crowd today.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm super stoked to have you guys in today. Please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your roles or your
Soon to
2-day-old role.
I start tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
you start tomorrow? You haven't started?
I haven't started.
Right into the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Welcome to my world.
I'm Mazzie. About to start tomorrow at the Surf Museum. This is going to be my boss. I'll be an event coordinator, so.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And thrown to the fire will be fun. I can't wait. I'm
Hi,
excited.
I'm Surf Museum TX, Eduardo. I'm Maisie's boss tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And and we're having a really good time at the museum. And I run the museum, so I take care of a lot of the aspects of the place, but really glad to have her on board so that we can have someone fully dedicated to events, and that way I can pursue other partnerships and initiatives. So I'm very excited, very relieved.
You are definitely super busy at the museum, and you wear a lot of hats, and you've got to, wrangle a lot of board members. So I'm super excited for you to have some new young blood and to help alleviate those events and kind of take that off your plate, because you guys are also an option for wedding venues, welcome parties, rehearsal dinners, bridal showers, you name it. If you want to host an event at the Texas Surf Museum, it's an option. And now they have a full-on dedicated person to help you coordinate.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you get married, just go get married somebody and then come to us and we will make it happen. That way we can say we had a wedding at the Surf Museum. That's the goal this year to really lock that down. So, yeah.
But, I've gotten to attend a lot of events there, and, from a, surfer's background, getting to have an event amongst legends of Texas surfing history, it's unique. And for couples that, that is a huge aspect of their lifestyle, this is something that is kind of a niche offering for them. And I love it. There's so much history and so much support and backing for the Texas Surf Museum. I love seeing, Corpus Christi surfers come in and pop in for your events, and it's a really cool and unique space. But tell me a little bit about the size, what's included if you do rent the space, and kind of what that would look like.
Yeah, definitely. So we have 6,000 square feet worth of a museum, and we have 3 levels. Our first level is around 4,000 square feet, and it's perfect for rehearsal dinners, parties. We would love to try a wedding reception as well. And what comes with the space is literally anything that you want to make happen, we want to make happen. We have a very dynamic young team full of energy, and we're very creative, and we just want to have fun at the end of the day. I think that's part of why what we bring with our youth is we want to have a job that we can call fun, and yet also deliver quality and wonder. So there's nothing that we can't do, and then it's just a matter of having those conversations and working with people so that we can deliver their vision. So yeah,
super cool.
Yeah.
Have you had any offlandish requests yet?
No, recently we've been working with an artist, Peter Davis, to work on his installation, and he wants to project multiple projectors into the ceiling and kind of have a psychedelic experience happening. And we're obviously saying yes to that because we've never done anything like that. But that's what I take pride in, is when people come into the space and we're having an event for them, I like to let them tell me what I need to do to make their vision happen. And then the most rewarding part is when people come in for that show, for that evening, and they're like, oh my God, like this is unlike anything I've ever seen. So yeah, we really care about creating singular experiences and delivering for people, because making people happy is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super cool. I know I've seen, it wasn't, a rehearsal dinner, but it was, I believe, a dinner for volunteers for
Right.
Waves of Impact. That was one of the, I think, earlier events that I got to see you guys do. You do have options for table and chair rentals, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely as well. And we offer a very simple menu that, you just look at. And if you're just looking for reducing the friction of the planning phase, I think we've done a really great job of just letting you see that page, check off what you want, and we'll work with pricing. We just want to create a good time, so all of that is negotiable. And yeah, it's all very a la carte, and let's work together.
I love that, and
Yeah.
that's one of the greatest things about this island is it's the willingness to work together. Hey, tell me what you want. Let's make that happen,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you what I'm able to do for you.
If I may offer one more thing,
Yeah.
I think events and event rentals as a revenue engine, it's not our main focus by far. It's a really nice dessert option for our revenue streams. Our funding comes from grants and private sponsorships, and our surf base that is very loyal and giving to us. So everything else, merchandise, ticket sales, event rentals, it's an added bonus. And so it really takes the stakes away from that revenue stream, because you're not like, this is going to make or break like rent, or it's going to make or break salaries, right? So
Right.
it's something to consider on our end if you're trying to work with us is, oh, they care about making fun happen. They don't care about the bottom line so much. So you can work with them on making something cool.
Right. That
Yeah.
is a unique aspect, especially with you guys being, a museum forefront, and things like that. I love that, and you guys you're so much fun.
Yeah.
You're so much fun.
Yes.
A couple of things that I want to point out why it's such a unique venue option is the little things that you do have included. There are TVs, there is a projector screen, there is sound system, there's literally everything you need there. There's restrooms, there's it's in a great location. You're on Mechanic Street, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Walking distance from the Tremont House, walking distance from the Strand. There's ample parking. The parking is free after 6 p.m. on the street. I mean, how much easier can you get with that? It's a really unique location in the heart of Galveston. It's not far from the beach. It's not far from hotels, shopping, restaurants, bars. It is a great hub for your party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you guys were also at the expo. Eduardo, you were there representing the Texas
Yes.
Surf Museum. Mazzie, I actually had you helping out Married on Island and keeping our stories going for that weekend. Tell me a little bit about your experience there. What you thought? Did you have a good time? Did you get to network?
Oh, yeah. My gosh. I think everyone I talked to was like, oh, we need you to do this for our business. I definitely got a lot of business cards.
Heck yeah.
And I just think it was a good mix of like vendors from the island and like from like Houston area. And everyone just like vibed really well, and it was a fun little event, like even for someone who's like never had a boyfriend, like not even planning to get married. Like it was so fun, just like looking at people look at all their options.
Right.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Did you, what was, I guess, the best part about the expo? Was there anything that you were like, yes, that was it, do that again? Or was there anything that you're like, you could probably do without?
I mean, I think the panels were super cool.
Heck yeah.
Very helpful, especially as a photographer. Listening to the other photographers, that was really interesting. Everyone's different takes on it. I think that was like definitely something I would want to hear if I was planning a wedding.
I love that. That is a great tip. I I enjoyed the panels. It was a little hard to get going because I didn't really give anyone any questions. They wanted to prepare for it, and I was like, no, 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 no. I want to get you out of, your pitch.
Yeah.
And that was some
Yeah.
feedback that we got from couples was they liked hearing vendors say things that weren't in their pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get some good panelists again this year. Maybe we can get you to hop on.
But yeah.
Maybe.
What was your take on it, repping the venue?
Yeah, I loved talking to customers. I love learning what people's priorities are when they're planning their wedding, maybe they're stressed about. And one of the things that kept coming up was the affordability element. And, it's tough because you don't want to say that you're like an affordable venue because, the branding of that can get sticky or something. But what I will say is when you come to the Surf Museum, you can count on reasonable pricing, in my opinion, and then also the authenticity factor of the space. You just won't get it anywhere else. And I will say, like, we're both trained as photographers, so we really care about aesthetic quality and excellence. And so I think that informs the way we plan stuff and the way we do things. And so when you come to have your event at the Surf Museum, like, the pictures are going to be like there, like it's all going to be just what you want in the recap. But one of the things I want to tell people is that, like, the authenticity factor, like, you see some other venues, there's like a little bit of a stretch for authenticity. I think with us, it's like, it just feels right when you see the pictures or when you're there in the moment. So I think coming to that conclusion and telling that to people was a really great kind of like lightning bolt moment out of the space. And then also I love the convention. I mean, talking with all the vendors, everyone was just the best, and hearing couples how they met stories. God, that was the best. So yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I think you were next to Buttercream Houston.
Yeah, my favorite love story like ever is their love story. I'm like, you can't replicate that. I don't think that is the best. And the way that he pours into her, by the way, I'm not trying to get free cookies when I say this, but
Free macarons?
Free macarons with the Surf Museum logo on them. But for a man to devote so much of his time and his effort and to ask questions, like he was asking me, like, how do you like do this and that so that he could invest in her business. I was like, I have never met anybody like you, man. And I told her, I was like, you're the luckiest woman in the world. And she was like, I know. And I was like, man. And then I just recommended them to like everybody I knew, and they've been delivering for everybody since. So
oh my God, they've been everywhere.
They've been rock stars.
I'm like, I feel like they have to have doubled their delivery drivers.
Yeah.
I think on April 25th they were in Galveston and Spring, and probably Houston too. And I was just like, how?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite connections.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And if I can add, one of the things, like every vendor that I talk to, I just like, you get that gut feeling that this person cares and you're not like a transaction number with them. Like, I think that's what you've done a really great job of identifying in everybody that you recruit to come to the event, is everyone just has that conviction that you can't fake. And so when you talk to them, like you just feel like they're good people. And conversely, I think that I felt that throughout the day.
Thank you for that heartfelt thought.
Yeah. You know how I lead. You know how I do. Yeah. Yeah.
He's a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah. No, I'd be fighting. I'd be fighting sometimes. But the good fight, not the bad fight.
They are a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for your first day tomorrow.
I'm stoked.
Me too.
You won't even be there.
I don't know what we'll do. I won't even be there.
Are you going to be doing the news?
Probably, yeah.
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 Eduardo also flies in a helicopter and does news, so,
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, reporting live from Sky Eye. Eduardo
Did not know
Hernandez,
that.
Yeah.
ABC 13.
Exactly.
Eyewitness News, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I know. You guys are just jacks of all trades.
Yeah, we're pretty awesome.
It's what
Yeah.
happens. It's what we have to do. We'd have to juggle a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to play a little rapid fire with you guys.
I love this. Yes.
Play a little rapid fire. Favorite Galveston sunset spot?
San Luis Pass. Way out west, but
Okay.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's fun. You can go do some off-roading.
Don't swim there.
Don't swim.
Don't swim.
Don't
But-
swim.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
I love it.
Driving down the seawall, headed towards Jimmy's, drop the top on the car, whatever you're driving, and have some good people in the car seats next to you, and just like that's when you know like you've achieved everything that you could possibly like, really care about.
Yeah, wind in your hair.
Wind in your hair, like. You know.
Eduardo has a convertible, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true. Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Yes.
I like doing the van, but
I love the van. I want the van back. I want the van in the convertible. But we'll get there.
he had a rental for a little bit
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and it was great. He was our chauffeur.
Oh,
He drove us around a little bit. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It
That
was
was
cool.
so good.
Total soccer mom.
I was. I embraced it. That was so good. Yeah.
Go to coffee shop.
I like Freckleberry.
Yeah.
They
It's
got the
cute.
chickens.
Oh, I haven't seen the chickens, but I like the
Yeah.
patio.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look for
They're
the
cute.
chickens now.
yeah.
Yeah. As someone who fundraises, I have to say everybody. Connex, Marmo Lounge, Mod, Red Light. Those are all in my vicinity, so I really appreciate those. But I need to go visit some of the other ones.
Honorable mention, Indies Coffee.
Indies
60
Coffee,
Hours.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're out there for me. But I do like the owner a lot. He's always a great time to talk to. So.
Best matcha I've ever had.
Oh, that's
Oh
a-
yeah, definitely. I got a lavender matcha there, and I was like, oh, this is so good. And then I tried it somewhere else
Yeah.
and threw it in the trash.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
well,
the worst.
you ruined me. Thank
Yeah.
you, Indies
Yeah.
Coffee, on your amazing matcha. Ideal welcome party vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Texas Surf Museum.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Room full of sexy people. You know, the drinks got to be flowing. The museum, we're famous for always having free beer, free drinks, and that's like because we like to get the party going. For me personally, I like to DJ, and that's not actually me DJing; it's just me playing my favorite songs.
I was gonna say you
but-
can DJ too.
What can't you do?
But I do like setting the tone. I do like throwing parties, so yeah, I think. But also just reminding people that like we're all here to have a good time, and just being intentional about telling people like, hey, I'm so happy you're here. You know, I think we're really good internally about inviting people to come to places, and not just through a traditional newsletter, but like actually reaching out and saying, I want you to come. And that goes a long way down the line. So I think being intentional about everything is really important to me.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I like a good like neighborhood hangout vibe.
Hell yeah.
Like
Yeah.
pretty similar. Like
Yeah.
free beer. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Heck
Just
yeah.
a bunch of friends meeting new people. I mean,
Yeah.
just connecting with like your friends that you
Yeah.
haven't met. I think that's a fun.
And that's what happens at the museum too in our
Yeah.
events. Like we do a really good job, like it's staff and the board, of introducing people to other people that we know that they would overlap in like
Yeah.
some part of their lives, and then people leave and they're like, man, like I just met so many cool people, and you're like, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Heck yeah. It can get super intimate there, but it can also have a vibe.
Yeah.
Dude, we have a good time there. Biggest misconception about Galveston.
Tell you.
I mean,
You guys, we have a local influencer in the house. This is G-Town Isn't Brown. Have you been voted for the last 2 years?
3.
3 years.
And
3
the
years.
only 3 years
Best
I've had the account.
Instagram
Let's
feed.
go.
Yeah.
And the only.
yeah.
You're
So
amazing.
I'm a big. I mean, we might have dirty water, might be brown every once in a while. It's just the sand.
Yep.
Just don't worry about it. But I mean, that's what makes the Blue Water Days so much better.
Mhm.
Yes.
And you know what? If you don't want to come to Galveston because you think the water's bad, then
Mhm.
don't come
Mhm.
to Galveston.
That's
More
right.
for us.
That's right.
More for
Mhm.
us.
Don't clog up my causeway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the question again?
What is the biggest misconception about Galveston? You can't go with brown water.
No, I think
It's got to be something.
I think people don't realize how much history there is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, I think for all of us that live here, we're like the history. But for people that are in the greater Houston area, Dallas, Texas, all that region, like, you come down here and you take a walk down the Strand, like, you literally feel like something happened here beneath my feet, and you just can't replicate that. And the fact that it's available for you to just feel throughout the downtown district, you know, that's so freaking awesome. And it's almost like a spiritual kind of energy that's like flowing through the place, and you're like, oh, I feel like I'm a part of something. Like, this is really nice. And you just, it's a day that you won't forget, and you're going to want to bring people back because you just can't replicate that anywhere else.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's so true. There's so much history here. I highly recommend checking out, the additional museums that are here. Um, there's a offshore drilling museum. There's, the Bryan Museum. There's a Galveston County Museum.
Yeah.
There's so much history here. And then, of course, the Texas Surf Museum,
Yes.
our favorite museum.
Yes.
But, piggybacking off of, something happened here. Obviously, the 1900 storm, which means, there's a lot of, haunted places and a lot of that. Have you, being from photographer backgrounds, I've talked to a few photographers before where they have venues and locations here on the island where they have to bring additional batteries because it drains the batteries. Is that something you guys have ever experienced, heard about, talked about?
I definitely, I think, but I thought that was just my poor planning. I didn't know it was
Because it was haunted?
Yeah,
Because
wow.
it was a spirit
Okay.
sucking your battery dry?
Good. Well, yeah, that's.
Oh.
There have been times where I've had to run to Kroger and like get like more batteries, and I'm like, oh god, I'm such a like disorganized
ditz.
person. And then it's like, no wait, a ghost is doing this. Let's go.
Well, I'm about to be. I feel like you just cursed me now.
I'm sorry.
I've never experienced that, but now I think I might.
Just a little sage.
Yeah.
And, you can tell them,
Mm-hmm.
don't come
Go.
with me.
Go.
Stay here, guys. We're cool. No, I've set up before some of the remodels, the Galvez, and I've set up in one of those rooms upstairs
yeah.
and waiting on bridal party to show up and lights flickering, and I'm just like, I don't think I'm alone. And then the bridal party shows up and everything's fine, and I was like,
Okay.
sage, the witchery, shout out witchery.
Yes. Yeah.
I keep some stones in my car. I have a stone in my makeup kit, or I used to. Yeah. So what is your ideal couple to get married at the Texas Surf Museum?
I feel like a lot of my friends on the island would be a perfect fit. Just skater boys, surf heads, like anyone who. I feel like if you're most comfortable walking around barefoot, or like cool with sand all over you, I feel like you belong at the surf museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're on your third marriage and you're like, you're in the 50s range and you're just looking to reminisce and not have the elephant in the room be the fact that you're on your third marriage, I think the surf museum is perfect.
Cool.
But also, no, I think everybody should get married at the surf museum. I think ideally, someone with a connection to beach culture and skate culture is perfect, but also someone that is willing to try new things and have a creative vision, because we're creative, so we love when all the creatives get together and work on something.
Yeah, I definitely think, it's a venue for couples who aren't wanting, your traditional basic, barn wedding or ballroom wedding. Say you're wanting to do a beach ceremony, or, like you said, you're looking for a more affordable option. That is one of the reasons why, Married on Island exists, is because we want to show couples that there is something for everyone and for every budget here on the island. And there are people that can work with you and are willing to work with you to make that happen for you guys. And so, it really is just, what are you looking for? What do you need? And have a conversation, give the place a tour, and see if it's the vibe for you. Because it's such a cool and unique location. There's history, there's photo ops, there's murals on the wall. Everyone takes a photo in front of the wave, and things like that. But, you don't even have to be related to the surf culture.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think that's one thing that I also determined after the conference. It's like I wasn't going to try to win over the couple that is trying to get married at the San Luis, because they have their mindset on their vision. Rather, I wanted to, talk to the people that were open-minded about possibilities and show them like what is the potential and go from there. So that's a strategy point for the museum that I really like having.
Eduardo, it took a little bit for us to come around to you because
Valid.
you're not a surfer, and we were like, who is this guy running the Texas Surf Museum?
yeah.
And he's not even a surfer. Like, we've never seen this guy in the water. Like, who are you? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
But being that you didn't come from a surfer background, I would love to hear in your words and thoughts on what you think about our local surf community.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, like that feedback, it seems to come up more and more. When I was starting, I'd never even processed that. I didn't care that like I wasn't like it never even. What mattered to me was like from a business standpoint, how do you make this place survive and how do you get that across? And so, and we did, as a nonprofit, we hit a profit our first year, and that's huge. And so I was just more worried about like this place matters. This place, with all the crazy things happening in the world, this place makes you forget about all of that. This needs to survive, and what do I need to do to make that happen? And then afterward, I could like take on all the criticism, whatever. So, first and foremost, it was about, optimizing the museum as a business so that it could survive. And then when it came to like, okay, now I'm actually meeting the people that are involved and in the culture, it literally was about one-on-one. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm so glad you're here. What are we missing? What do we not have? What is making us not feel authentic? What do you think like we need to come get? And so people started trickling in and realizing like, oh, this guy is like not a surfer, but he does care like in a very special way. And so then people started warming up to me in that way. But I was never trying to win anybody over. I was just like, make the most authentic thing you can make, and the money will follow. And sure enough, that happened. So I really care about what I love about the culture is how authentic, how just like raw everybody is. Like when they talk, the things that they say. There are memories that I have of people that I will never forget. Just like one-liners that they said to me that I'm like, oh my God, I love that guy so much.
Yeah.
I want to see him again forever. And every time I see those people come on in, like, and it's not like 10 or 12, it's like 50 different people that are in the scene that when they come on in, my world just lights up, and I'm like, great. They feel that this place matters. They feel like, they're listened to, and we still have more work to do. But, yeah, I think, just the openness and the willingness to contribute. And there are some of you guys that I haven't got to yet, but I'm excited to make you realize that I'm not here to poach or be a vulture. I'm really here to, for the purpose of society, to make this place happen, because we need more places like this, whether it's surfing, whether it's a different activity. We need more stuff like this.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Mazzie, you have background with surfing, and I feel like, yes, you have your presence online, but I feel like I kind of met you through surfing and that kind of culture. I could be wrong. I have no clue how I met you.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think that's kind of the beauty of the island, too.
Yes.
But, well, when you said that you recommended me to the museum, I was like, oh, like, I don't, like, my friends call me a kook, and I'm like, what? Like, at least I'm out there. I'm not out there as much as I want because I got lots going on, but, like, I was like, oh, if I'm working at the surf museum, I better step up. But
your manager doesn't even surf. So
yeah, I feel better.
Yeah.
You're good. You're
Yeah.
good. It's all good.
Also, the way that I run them, I'm able to run the museum because I'm not out there surfing.
Yeah, exactly.
We've hired surfers, and they don't show up on time. They don't
Yeah.
come to work because they're
Yeah.
like, the waves were good, and you're like, were they
Yeah.
actually good?
Yeah.
He's not wrong. He's
Yeah.
not wrong.
But anyway, sorry, back to you. Back to
No.
your
Well,
description.
no, it's, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much,
Yeah.
you're there. But
Yeah.
you guys have done some really cool, collabs with local surf shops, picnic surfboards.
Lucine, La Izquierda, yeah.
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 It's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the Tremont's a big supporter
Yeah.
for you guys. We love seeing, just the island come together in support of the Texas Surf Museum. And we just want to get more couples through your doors. And more events booked there. I think it is such a unique space for anyone to host their event, whether it's wedding related or not, graduation, engagement parties. Do y'all allow photographers to come in and do portrait sessions?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Heck
I
yeah.
don't see why
So,
not. Yeah.
if you get, if you are scheduled for engagement portraits on the beach and you get rained out and you need a backup option,
Yeah.
call Eduardo, call Mazzie,
Yeah.
pop into the Surf Museum. There are options here, and there are a lot of professionals that are just willing to go the extra mile and maybe spend a little extra time and effort to see you happy, because that makes them happy. It's that joy, and they want to see you come back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really cool thing. I know that you've got an opportunity to get a lot of people through your doors by opening up for Art Walk and a lot of art shows and things like that. Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, definitely. So we definitely wanted the state and a couple of funding organizations to recognize us as an art museum as well, beyond cultural. And that just like opens up avenues for support later down the line. But, I have to be very explicit about this. We have a very healthy pipeline of events happening. I'm kind of scared for her because she's going to have her
I
hands
know.
full.
I'm like CC'd in so many emails right now. I'm like,
Yeah. So, do book ahead, like with plenty of time. We're not desperate for bookings, and if anything, we like to know with as much time as possible what we can do so that we can start pulling our magic. Because sometimes we just make stuff happen that I think is just unique to our team. But back to the question, working with artists has been the best because again, I have artist kind of training from college and. Now being able to platform artists to get them to get the attention from people under the roof of the institution, giving them that seal of approval, and then being the point person for all of their logistical needs so that all they have to do is be the pretty face that sells their work. That's been awesome. I think that's one of the most fulfilling things about this job that I've had so far. Definitely injecting money into the surf community by letting surfers come in and sell their art. That's what life is all about, I think. So, we want to keep doing that more, and maybe we'll have some previous faces come back and do another show. I think that's going to be really exciting, and we're talking about that.
Heck yeah. That's super cool. So I did want to just kind of circle back and elaborate on that booking process. So you guys do have, a pretty full calendar of events coming up. With that being said, how far in advance can couples book you? How do they book you? Obviously, Mazzie, this is a new role for you. So a few of the things may change, but for the most part, do they just reach out through the website, through the email? What is the best way to reach out?
We have a dedicated tab on our website where it says book your event, and you go on there, you look at the menu of options that we have, and then you just send us an email. We don't do any forms. We don't do any, hoops and stuff. We just very clear cut, and we are very, very adamant about replying ASAP, not just for events, but with anything that has to deal with us. I get stressed if I don't reply to something within an hour. So, we're very responsive and we're excellent in that way. So.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So, reaching out through the website, any stipulations on how far in advance you'll book events?
Mazzie, what do you think? What makes you comfortable?
Well, personally,
Mazzie lives right next door to the museum,
I do.
so you can call her the day before.
I was gonna say I'm pretty good on the fly, pretty good last minute, but yeah, day before.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's do it. Yeah, no. Yeah, mean, we're very flexible, but ideally 2 months in advance would be great, just because we have the art walks that, with Art Walk and with artist shows, we're working to develop the next show while we have the current show going on. So there's chaos involved in that, and so by having 2 months of a lead time, we can book you in with plenty of free room so that we can think and theorize what we need to execute for you. So
all right, well, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and just to recap, what is the best way to find you guys? Social media, website?
Yeah, so our website is thetexassurfmuseum.org or .com. They both redirect to the same place. Instagram, we're surfmuseumtx. You can feel free to DM me. I'm very responsive on that platform. And then Facebook, we're more of a forum page on there, so you can just post a question that you may have about an event, and we will be quick to answer that as well. So yeah, we're very accessible.
Very accessible. I love it. Eduardo's super social, always in the comments, always liking. We appreciate the support.
Yeah.
Mazzie, go ahead and give yourself a shout out
Yes.
for your best Galveston Instagram feed.
Yeah, follow. Follow G. Johnson Brown. It's my pride and joy.
Yeah, and you do a great job of showing people what life is like on the island and why it's so special and why we'll probably never leave.
Yeah.
People don't know how hard it is to build a social media account from zero. Like, it is. You should be very proud of that. That's fucking awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely 2 accounts that you guys need to follow, Texas Surf Museum and G-Town Isn't Brown. But we're super excited to have you guys here. Hopefully we'll have you guys back at the expo. And yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait to bring
Gotta
some
be there.
vendors to
We
your
gotta be
venue.
there. Yeah, it's gonna be great.